So in this video, we're going to go over what a looper pedal is, how to use one, and what you should look out for if you're on the market for a looper pedal. Let's talk about some of the features that these pedals typically have. Most of the looper pedals record about 15 seconds or so, some a little longer than that. Some are multi-feature pedals, in which the pedal primarily serves another function and the looper is a secondary function on that pedal, and some pedals are dedicated looper pedals or looper stations in and of themselves. A lot of companies on the market that produce looper pedals. The big ones, in my opinion, are Boss, TC Electronic, and Digitech, just to name a few. So the things you should watch out for: the ability to record a loop in itself. So there's two variations that I found. In one category of looper pedals, as soon as you activate the looper by tapping on a foot switch, there's a millisecond delay before the looper starts recording. In the other category of looper pedals, you have pedals that once you've activated the looper itself through the foot switch, it doesn't start recording until you actually start strumming. Examples of each I have here. This is the flashback delay looper pedal by TC Electronic. So it's a delay pedal with a secondary loop function in it, but this is an example of a looper pedal that once you tap into, there's a bit of a millisecond delay before it starts recording whatever it is that you're about to play. The other variation of loop recorder is within this pedal. This is a Trio Plus loop pedal. So this pedal in itself has two sides. It has a side that allows you to create drum tracks and bass lines, but it also has this looper pedal. With this loop function, it will only start to record once you start playing any sort of sounds. In my experience, I prefer these pedals a little bit more than the traditional looper pedal, only because it's harder to mess up recording a loop. And in the second part of this video, we'll go through actually creating a multi-level loop recording, and you'll see what I mean there. So other things to watch out for: how the loop pedal stores its loops or tracks. So you have some pedals that will have a built-in memory bank in which you can record and re-record your loops. For instance, take the flashback delay. Then you have some pedals that rely on an external SD card or memory stick to store your loops. Take the Trio Plus pedal with an SD slot there. Then you have other pedals. This one I have here is a TC Electronic wiretap riff recorder, and this one's pretty great. It has an inbuilt memory bank, but it also relies on Bluetooth that allows you to sync up your recording or your pedal to external device, say your cell phone. It allows you to record your loop onto the pedal, transfer it onto your cell phone, and you can then call it, from a bank whenever you choose. The other thing to think about is certain loopers can come in mono or stereo. Those pedals that come in stereo function may allow you to replay your audio recording onto a secondary amp, freeing up another amp for you to play your other line or lead line over what you just recorded. Other things to watch out for is what kind of scenario would you like to use a looper pedal in? Are you looking for something you can use live, where you can record patches and recall them and play them back? Or are you looking for something as just a rehearsal tool at home? So depending on your case use, you might want to go for different sort of loopers or manufacturers of loopers that are on the market. So for instance, if you wanted to play live, you might want to go with something that has multiple switchers, because it will allow you to turn on or off certain layers of your loop, or recall previous loops, pause, play loops in reverse. So you want to go for something like maybe like the TC Electronic Ditto x4 or one of the larger Boss looper pedals. Say you wanted something as a practice tool at home. If you wanted something really simple, you could go for like the Ditto pedal or a straight Boss loop station pedal. Say you wanted something even more robust that's still sort of a practice tool that maybe you could use live as well. I would go for something like the Trio Plus looper. So we've run through a couple of features that you should think about if you're on the market for a loop pedal best fits your specific needs. Let's go through how to use a looper pedal by building our very own loop. Okay. All right, so for this video, we're going to go through the basic functions of a loop pedal and how to use it. For our purposes, we're going to run through this using the flashback, delay, and looper. I have it on the looper setting right here. For our loop example, we're going to build a loop with 3 layers. We're going to have a percussive layer, a rhythm section, and a bass line. Now, an important thing to remember when creating a loop pedal is essentially your first loop is the foundation for the rest of your layers. Now, this is really important, and the way or the reason I say this is because the amount of time you allot to your initial layer will define the amount of time each preceding or following layer can take, okay? And the best way to think about this is in number of beats, or at least that's how I think about it. So I already know that what I would like to play for my rhythm section is going to take up about 8 beats. So I'll count it down with you so you see what I mean. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's about 8 beats, or 2 bars, 4 beats a bar. So when I'm creating my percussive layer on the looper pedal, I want to make sure that it takes up 8 beats so it can accommodate the rhythm section, which will be 8 beats, and then finally the bass layer, okay? So for rhythm, let's do something really simple, something percussive, say, all right, so that's going to be the rhythm layer. Now, let's look at the pedal. Now, I know with the flashback delay pedals, I have about a few milliseconds before they start recording after I hit the foot switch. So I'm going to get in position here. As soon as I click in, I'm going to play the rhythm section. Okay. Now, if you pay attention to the green light, when it flashes off, that tells you or indicates it's the end of the loop and the beginning of the loop again. Now, if you count that from dark to dark again, it should be 8 beats. All right? Now, here comes our rhythm section. And now, here's another, or the second important fact. You want to line up whatever you play after your initial layer with the beginning and end of your loop. And I say this because if you don't do this, you might end up having that layer clash with itself, because you've allotted a specific amount of time for that base layer or the your foundational layer, and if you play it off of that, that layer is going to repeat onto itself, and it's going to essentially ruin your loop, and you're going to have to start over. So we're going to pay attention to that green light. When it flicks off, we're going to start our rhythm section. We're a little fast, but it's all right. There we go. A little fast there, but we can work with it. All right, so that's our second layer. Now moving into our third layer, which is going to be the bass line. Let's play something in the key of E, or actually, we're going to play something in the key of G major. see that all kind of lines up really nicely. We're a little fast on the rhythm section, but it sounds all right. Okay. So now we have our 3 layers, and now here comes the fun part, like soloing over what you created, right? So for this chord progression, we're just going to solo in the key of G major. So just your G major pentatonic. And you can kind of, we'll click on the tumnus pedal here. Have it. And now we're going to double click, and that's going to delete our loop. And then we can start over again, or we can create another loop. Now, like I mentioned, this is a very simple looper pedal. You might have other looper pedals with multiple switches, looper pedals that allow you to bank existing loops. Yeah, but that's essentially how a looper pedal works. Like and subscribe below if you found this useful. Hit us up in the comment section if you have any particular questions about looper pedals, and we'll see you again in the next video.